Hello and welcome to the Books Crypto Club weekly catch-up on Zoom. It is Sunday the 6th of November 2022, and as is always the case with these sessions, we're going to be talking about whatever the audience want to talk about. Whoever comes along, we talk about various things. Sometimes it's cryptocurrencies, blockchain, DeFi, ICOs, STOs, NFTs, all sorts of three-letter acronyms really. We hold these sessions every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. UK time. So if you want to join us at a future meeting, there's a link in the comments below. Do sign up, do come along. So let's see who's going to come and join us today. Hey, Nicola.
Hi, Gary. How are you keeping?
I'm good, thanks. How's life?
Yeah, not bad. Sorry I haven't been for the last few weeks. I've just been away for work and stuff, so.
Have you been busy with the NFT events and the metaverse and the Web3
no,
stuff that's going on?
Similar, but not. My company's involved in a crypto commodity mix. So it's a crypto that's backed by physical assets like gold and oil and stuff like that. So we had an event in Barcelona for that. So
Excellent.
That.
Well, it's been a really busy few weeks. London's had loads of stuff, and then in Lisbon as well, there was a big conference. And I think everyone's pretty much sobered up after the conference in Bogota now as well, because there's a big Ethereum event on in Colombia. So, yep, it's all party time.
I didn't know about that one. What was that one about?
That was a big Ethereum conference.
Right.
So, they always hold their events in very, very interesting places. So,
I was going to say, what's going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Sebastian, can you hear us okay now? Looks like it's going to be another day where Sebastian, one-way audio, he says in the chat, so that's the way it often goes. So listen, feel free to add comments in the chat if you've got any questions or anything, Sebastian. I'll try and pick up from there and see if I spot anything. So, and it looks like Sebastian. I think Sebastian's going to come back in as a second thing, or there's going to be two Sebastians. We get this some weeks where there's loads of people with the same name.
One's the crypto version, one's the correct Sebastian, is it?
Yeah. Well, one's an NFT, and one's
better.
And one's the actual event. So yeah, that's good. We got what's that? Hey,
Sebastian. Am I the NFT version or the real one?
Well, this is it. It could be either. We've got two Sebastians on the call now, so I think you're the real one. So maybe they've done an NFT of you.
How much is your NFT, Sebastian?
Yeah, looks like we've got one on and one on silent as well, and we've got is that Fadi Ali join us as well? Say hi. You can never tell whether people are just being nervous or whether they can't find the mute switch. So what's new then, Nicola? Are you getting back into the crypto space then after your Barcelona event? Or
it was really good. When you go to events like that, there's just so much going on in the crypto space that I can't actually. It's kind of, you have to follow one line of thought for a while, and then figure yourself out from there and go from there,
Yeah, I think there is sometimes the risk that it's like a rabbit warren, isn't it? It's like when you first got onto the internet and you discovered search engines, and you'd look at something and you'd look at something, and you'd spend 4 hours having a fascinating time looking at an awful lot of stuff that you didn't know you didn't know about type thing.
No, I know.
I guess that's with me at the moment. I'm taking real interest in crypto custody in particular.
Okay.
But a side interest in things like you probably aware of the FATF travel rule around. That's not good. I'm just thinking in terms of if you've launched a physical based crypto, then I would have thought you'd been aware of the new FATF travel rule that's coming into play.
Probably not me personally, because I'm on the communication side of things, so I'm not the technical person on the side of the crypto. So what is it? Please share.
So it's to do with the legal side of things, in fact, and it's the requirement now from FATF. So FATF is the Financial Action Task Force. So this is a global organization made up of law enforcement agencies and governments and that around the world. And they take a keen interest in money laundering and criminal activities now. And one of the things they've instigated is what's known as the travel rule, or that's coming into play at the moment, which is in essence anything valued above a certain amount, you now have to provide evidence of source and destination. So it's kind of like doing KYC, so know your customer checking, but on a wallet, to be able to prove where the crypto has come from and where the crypto has gone to, including capturing details of who that person is who owns the wallet. So
that's good.
Well, it kind of is and it isn't. So it really depends where you sit on the spectrum around things. So yeah, absolutely, it's a great way of tracking things like money laundering, illegal activity in that. What it also does is it reduces the ability to transact anonymously if you so wished.
Fair.
So again, for most people, that's not a problem. But for those who want to have the right to do transactions without people knowing about them, they get a little bit of thing. And this is where you get the whole thing of people who are into the decentralized pseudo-anonymous world, and the kind of like a libertarian type end of the spectrum. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum, which is the trying to get financially regulated companies in who have to have all of these kind of things. So it's an interesting trying to strike that balance, really. So it goes. Hey, we're joined by Elena as well. Hey, Elena.
Hello.
See, Elena even came on without the mute on. That's good.
Yeah.
And we've just been joined by Corey as well. Hello, Corey. This is where I'll look now to see if the mic goes off. No. That's interesting. So Corey's saying hi via chat as well, and Sebastian's saying he's got one-way audio where it's better than last time. So yeah.
I think I'm two-way now.
Yes, you are in. I can hear you, Sebastian.
Oh, good.
So that's good.
Second time lucky.
That's good. So what's new in your world at the moment, Sebastian? Because you do some interesting stuff, I seem to remember.
Well, certainly, but relevant for this group, I've taken the plunge into Ethereum. I thought the merge was worth it, and it's quite a steep learning curve, but it's very rewarding to understand how these things work.
Okay. So have you got a grasp now of how proof of stake works?
Yeah, I think so. It's quite a radical departure from the proof of work, which has been surely the dominant system for, or you can now say decades, which is quite something.
Yep. It's certainly an interesting thing, and it's something I've yet to get sufficiently into. So for anyone else who's watching or who's on the call, this is all to do with what's known as the consensus protocol, of what effectively keeps the network of all the nodes with all copies of the blockchain database on them synchronized. And it's also to do with how you validate blocks and that. And normally, things like Bitcoin, previously Ethereum, used a concept called proof of work, which is all these computers consuming massive amounts of computing power to prove that they've solved a puzzle and they've consumed energy to do it. Proof of stake, if I remember correctly, Sebastian, do feel free to correct me because you're more up to date on this now, is more to do with actually holding crypto assets as a kind of like a deposit to prove your authenticity. Is that a reasonable way of describing it?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the quirky elements that keeps it relatively safe is that if anyone was trying to disrupt the network, they would have to essentially kill the value of the cryptocurrency in doing so by producing enough invalid blocks that people stop using it.
Yeah, so effectively, it's a new way of securing the network where it doesn't need a massive amount of computing power to do it. So it's not kind of like melting the icebergs and putting the polar bears out of homes and that kind of thing, which is good.
That's right.
Okay. And so we've been joined by, is that Bundeep as well? Hey, Bundeep. Hey, say hi.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, we're good. And where are you dialing in from today, Bundeep?
From London. Gloomy Sunday evening, yes.
Yeah, but there are fireworks in the background at least.
There we go.
And we're joined by, is it Alloy as well? Hey, Alloy. It's going to be another person who stayed quiet or says hi on the chat. Not a problem.
Mhm.
So I'll open this session up for those who haven't been to any of these kind of things before. First of all, welcome for coming on. If it's first time, very much appreciated. These sessions, we don't have a formal structure them, don't have an agenda. We cover whatever people want to talk about. So it's sometimes useful to know what level of experience people are at, because certainly if you're a beginner, this is a great opportunity to ask really simple questions. The simpler the better, because actually they're the really interesting ones that people just don't think about. Or if you're more advanced and you want to share some knowledge, some news, some information, or if you're running a project or anything, feel free. So maybe, but Bundy, where do you sit on that kind of spectrum?
Okay, I guess I don't know where the spectrum starts and finishes, but let me say I'm sort of maybe a bit right of center, put it that way.
Yeah.
So I've been involved with cryptos for several years, bought them after one friend of mine from California said, the only thing I want you guys to do after dinner tonight is go and buy Bitcoin. And this was probably like 2014 or something like that. So we struggled to buy it because it wasn't easy, but that's the foray. But fast forward, so now, aside from holding a portfolio, I'm also a shareholder in a company called Wave Financial, which is a crypto asset manager out of LA. I think I'm the second largest shareholder outside of the founders, and it's now a top 5 registered regulated crypto asset manager. Also an LP, IDEO Collab, which is the IDEO Design Shops venture fund. That's done pretty well. And along with that, I've made co-investments. So with IDEO, I went into Forte Gaming, which is a blockchain gaming company. And their Series C, I think it was like $1 billion valuation when I went in. But also went early into, let's say, Wave's NFT fund, which was up, and then of course it's down. So, and a bunch of other ones that are more specific to either insurance or some other. There's a company called Nivora, which is securities trading. London Stock Exchange Group invested in it. I think I'm also certainly one of the larger private shareholders there. And I have a company in Canada which is listed. It's a super microcap stock, but I've been working on that the past year because I have another company which is an insurtech company which I was focused on for the past 4 years and took it from a VC to PE level. We're like 160 people now, which finances insurance. And since that kind of hit a bit of a stability in its growth, now it's a scale up, I've now focused back on Finecchia, which is this Canadian company, which is more oriented with crypto. And we're looking to do something very interesting in the ETP, ETF space. We just set up a subsidiary in Liechtenstein. We've just submitted our our prospectus for a EU-wide passport directive approval, hoping to get that end of November. And we will launch some ETP products next year, which will be interesting, some enhanced yield products. And I'm also looking to partner with a music producer called Naughty Boy, who you may know has produced songs like Sam Smith's La 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 song or Beyonce's Running, to create a metaverse music labels. We're calling it Naughtyverse Records, with the focus on NFTs. And we're incorporating that in Dubai. I was there about 2 weeks ago, and looking to create something different for tokenized ownership of songs. So the next year looks like Naughtyverse Records with tokenized songs in a different kind of way. His next album, which is his previous album, was a top 10 chart album, and the next one hasn't been released. So this will be released on Naughtyverse Records, and it'll be an NFT play with music NFTs. So we're joint partners in that, as well as Finecchia as a small shareholder, and doing this ETP play, which is basically an ETF, but it's notes as opposed to a fund, and hopefully listing on the German Xetra exchange. So that's what we want for next year.
So plenty of things
Sorry,
going on there.
there we go. I don't know where I fit in the spectrum, but that's me.
that is the spectrum.
There we go.
No, it's really impressive because the music and the NFT type thing, it's really interesting because my musical tastes are, I don't quite know how I describe them, specialized, shall we say. So I don't go to the main thing, because it was fascinating. A few years ago, I was at a blockchain event. I was actually running a panel. I think I was sitting on a panel. I was chatting to someone about music and crypto at the time. It was before NFTs kind of came out. And I was speaking to this woman who's a CEO of some company doing some stuff. And she really knew her stuff. around the whole music industry and payments and licensing and all this kind of thing. And eventually said, "Oh, you know, your name's kind of familiar. You know, which fintech is it you run?" Whatever. She said, "I'm not a fintech. I'm a musician. I'm a musician." And it was a lady called Imogen Heap, and Imogen was behind a lot of stuff to do with mycelium, if I remember correctly, which is like a music type thing. And I think they're now going into the NFT space. But it was really, really interesting because she was describing how licensed music distribution works, and how it is, you know, if you've got a group of people in a band and you're sharing the licensing and it's on radio versus TV versus internet and all the distribution things, it was massively complex. I was just blown away just how detailed she understood that industry and how well she understood blockchain as well. And it was clear there's going to be something on that. The thing you mentioned about insurance and insurtech thing, be interested to have a separate conversation with you about that at some point, because that's a world I spend a lot of time in, having worked in a Lloyd's of London syndicate for a number of years. And I know commercial insurance quite well and get involved with a few insurtechs, particularly on the blockchain side of things. So that's good. So you cover a wide range of things there, but one I just wanted to quickly go into, you talked about the European ETP or ETF. Presumably you won't be able to market that in the UK because the UK FCA has prohibited crypto derivatives for retail, hasn't it?
Yeah, sorry, I typed in the companies in the chat so you can.
Cool.
We're not planning on marketing the UK, and we can do it because we have a subsidiary in the UK, which is an AR to institutional investors, but it is going to be a listed security on the German stock exchange.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can have this passive interest in any listed security. I can go and buy a Hong Kong share right now if I wanted to, as long as I was aware of it. And the awareness doesn't have to be by proactive marketing. I don't need to push it through an IFA channel. I could push it through, you know, FT's coverage of it, if you may. So given the propensity of ETFs that are listed, I mean, Zitra is the home for 90% of all ETFs that are listed, right? So Europe is a good enough market for us to market it right now. When there's more enlightened wisdom within the FCA and things change, then we'll bring it out here. But I don't need to push a big pail of water uphill if I don't need to.
Yeah, well, the good thing, the FCA has just appointed a new head of digital assets who's just joined from New Zealand. So maybe we'll see some enlightened thinking around things.
Yeah,
but put simply, for those who, this is the problem in any meeting, you end up talking all sorts of hieroglyphics and letters. So an ETF, for anyone who's watching who doesn't know, and it is an exchange traded fund. So my understanding of that is that it's simply a form of a derivative behind which there is a crypto or a physical asset. Is that a fair way of describing it?
Except we're not doing derivatives. It's a standard fund. So there's no, we're not playing call or put options. There's no derivative strategy. It's basically like a private equity fund, except happens to be listed on an exchange. So it's a listed fund. And in our case, it's not even a fund. It's actually a set of notes. So the underlying assets are held through loan structures as opposed to shareholder or share structures. So it's a nuance because Europe has better passportability and more access to a spectrum of investors if it's a note as opposed to a fund. So if it's fund, it's restricted to institutional investors. If it's a note, you can go across retail and institutional across Europe. So it's more marketable. Yeah. If it works there, fine. At some point, we can look at the UK or Switzerland or wherever else. And keep in mind, Fnac, your parent company is a Canadian listed company too. So we get double whammy in terms of being able to market from a listed perspective in Europe and Canada. So we'll get plenty of coverage. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, that sounds fascinating. You should definitely catch up on the Prem Phenacom that you mentioned there as well. We'll do that separately because insurance tends to get a bit boring for some people. Well, I noticed we've just got Amit joined us as well. Amit, how's it going with the football fan stuff?
Hey, Gary. Hello everyone. Hello, Nicola. Nice to see you guys again. Hello, Elena, Sebastian, Aloy, and Bandeep. Yeah, it's been going good, Gary. I just saw your message on the EcoX London WhatsApp group, and I try to join this every Sunday, but it becomes tough sometimes. But it's good. I thought I'll join today. Yeah, with Football Fan app, it's going really good. Fancoin, we did a private sale of Fancoin, which finished on 31st of October. And it was oversubscribed, and just because of the community, the strong community that we have over 200,000 users plus around 500 investors who invested in us in the previous rounds. So they all chipped in again, and now currently it's on IEO, on the exchange that we are partnered with. It's on P2B exchange at the moment. So the IEO started on 5th of November, which was yesterday morning. And it will go on until 20th for 2 weeks, and then it's listing on 25th of November. And the reason why we timed it so is because FIFA World Cup is coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and we just wanted to launch the Fancoin on the exchange alongside the World Cup kicking off, and then I'm off to Qatar to watch the World Cup.
I was just about to ask that. You're certainly going to the right region, because certainly the whole of the Emirates is amazing at the moment.
Yes.
Dubai seems to be the main hotbed, but yeah, Qatar for the football is definitely an interesting one. So
yeah, and you won't believe the kind of prices for hotels and everything over there. They have just tripled or quadrupled in last few months. But it's fine. It's all okay for now. I booked it a year ago. So
Amit, maybe this is an opportunity, because you and I have met each other a couple of times, and as I said previously, I was really impressed with the size of your community already, which is a really important thing. But maybe I'll give you the opportunity, quick couple of minutes, just tell everyone else on the call what Football Fan is about. Yeah,
sure. So Football Fan is a Web 3.0 app. It's an app-only product where it's a social media app for fans of football. So they post all sorts of content like podcasts, videos, photos, text messages. There is a chat room. There is live score. You can create your articles. And for anything that you do on the app, you collect Fancoin, which is our own cryptocurrency. And with Fancoin, you can convert your content on the app in NFTs on the fly in less than 60 seconds, irrespective of whether it is a video, a podcast, a photo. And you can start trading those NFTs on the platform. We have partnered with around 200 brands where products from those brands are available to redeem for Fancoin. So you can, let's say, get offers 10% off on Apple products when you redeem your Fancoin holdings. You can buy Manchester United shirt. You can buy Costa Coffee coupons. You can buy Morrison's groceries. So there are almost 200 brands that are there on offer over there. And now Fancoin is going on an exchange. So our community is growing around 15 to 20,000 users per month at the moment, which I believe it's fine at the moment. And they have created almost 33 million engagements onto the app. And when I say engagements, those are all active engagements, not just impressions.
So that's pretty impressive. So that's good to hear. Thanks for sharing that. So was that Aloy who's about to ask a question, or no? I thought I just heard something.
I heard someone. Yeah, even I heard someone.
No problem. So it's really interesting today. Then we've got a real mixture of people's backgrounds in terms of things. So we've got Nicola, who's got like the physical asset based crypto, if I remember correctly. You've got Bundeep, who does everything for everybody, everywhere, and everything. But certainly, it's definitely fascinating the stuff you're talking about, the ETF side of things for Europe, and also the insurance proposition. I'm definitely going to check out Premfina separately on that. And then Amit is more of a membership loyalty type thing. So that's a real interesting spectrum of things there. So that, with such a big mix, maybe I should ask Elena, really, as almost the moderator out of all of this. Is there anything out of any of those things that anyone would like to learn more about, or anything? As we've got an opportunity with lots of people with lots of different things.
This is such a wide range.
It is, isn't it?
It is a little bit overwhelming.
But I suppose it also shows where we are in this crazy crypto world, that there are so many things going on right now. because what we're talking about here is several of them are kind of like variations of NFTs or tokenization. And you can see the diversity there, tokenization of physical assets, tokenization of loyalty or that kind of thing. This is the thing that really blows me away about crypto, that there's just so much going on all over the place. Anyone who's London based, if you were in London last week, amazing stuff going on.
And we are only in the beginning, aren't we?
I think we keep being in the beginning. I describe it, it's funny, I had a conversation with someone, I think on LinkedIn the other day. You've got this concept called the Gartner hype cycle, which is about how new technologies come on. And basically, it starts off with a novel idea, you get some early adopters, it gets hyped up, loads of marketing spent on it, and then actually companies try and implement it, and it all fizzles out as they realize it doesn't work, and then eventually the few that do survive actually turn it into something. I actually think that what I'm seeing with blockchain and crypto is more like waves on a beach, because you keep seeing a little wave come along, and the wave might be, the ICO wave or the STO wave or the DeFi wave or the NFT wave. But each wave moves a little bit further up the beach. And sometimes it then retracts, or sometimes it's just a massive surge forwards. I think with physical waves, it's 1 in every 7 is huge type thing. It feels the same in this world.
It's one of the things I like about it is we are moving forward. We're progressing with all these different areas, which I find is exciting. It's not just financial anymore, and we're moving into insurance and football and all sorts of areas. And it slowly but surely will get rid of the pump and dumps type stuff that goes on, all the scams. And that's one of my favorite parts, because these people can move along and bring in the heavyweights,
So that's probably something, because I keep arguing about how we need appropriate regulation. And I'm always stressing the word appropriate, because it was interesting the other day, there was an announcement, I didn't realize UK gilts. So these are notes that are issued by the Bank of England to raise money for the government. UK gilts and bonds this year have lost 1.3 trillion pounds in value, which is, a very big number indeed. And in fact, to give you a comparison of that number, that's bigger than the entire market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies. So all of these, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the works, that's currently, I think, about $1.1 trillion, in fact. So the traditional finance market compared to crypto, traditional finance is still massive compared to crypto. Crypto, we don't realize. Once you're into crypto, you think everything's going on everywhere and it's massive. It's actually still tiny compared to traditional finances. But also, this is where regulation will then allow the crypto world to move more into the regulated world, financial world. And I think that's where it's really going to go. So I just noticed we just had a question, Aloy's come in. He said, do you think crypto mining is still worth it, or do you think it's too late to start crypto mining with around 10 GPUs? Well, if you speak to my son who's a gamer, he'd say give up crypto mining straight away because he wants GPUs to come down in price so he can play more games. But the thing about crypto mining is that there are so many other cryptocurrencies that are still using mining. So I know people who do mine where they've got software which automatically detects which coins are worth mining. So my view is that there are still opportunities there. It really comes down to where you get your energy from and how much you're paying for it. Because if you can get access to very low cost energy, then it's worth crypto mining. So I know people who've got like solar panels on their roof, and they use that to charge up batteries, and they use the batteries to run the crypto mining. And in the summer, they do quite nicely because loads of sunshine in there. But also it generates an awful lot of heat in the summer, which causes a problem. Let's see what happens in the winter as the sun decreases. But they use solar panels, so the cost of electricity of them is 0. So they're still making something. So it really depends.
But can't you do mining through cloud mining now using Amazon Web Services and stuff like that? So you don't have that energy issue anymore.
Yeah, and certainly there are things like mining pools that you can join, or as you say, that there are cloud mining services. The thing I always urge caution with any of those, because a lot of them seem to be quite scammy in nature. The ones to definitely watch out for are the ones that say they will guarantee 2% per day profit or whatever, and will pay back every 50 days on your contract, blah, blah, blah. They're just, nobody can guarantee, high returns. And
we're not allowed to use that word.
Well, exactly. And this is where I used to like going to some of the crypto conferences, particularly in the ICO craze in 2017, 2018. And I'd be listening to some people on stage and they're saying, we are confident that this token or this coin will go up 50% within the first 6 months. I'm thinking, you can't say that. And we guarantee a return of, you can't say that. And there's no risk involved, you can't say that. And it's like, if the FCA had been there, they'd have been having a field day. So
the word we have to use is potential. That is it.
Well, if you look at it, it applies to share market, stock market, bullion market, every market which is where there is trading happening. It applies to property market as well.
Yeah.
So you cannot say that, I bought a house and the prices are always going to go up. It won't, because we have seen it time and time again. In 2008, when we had that crash, the property prices went down. So so there's no guarantee of anything. The only thing is you have to have caution in any investment that you are making, irrespective of what investment it is, and it's the risk appetite.
Yeah, and that's very much why I always say I never offer financial advice, and it is not financial advice, and I never recommend any cryptos or anything either. It's really interesting because I saw the SEC was making a couple of announcements a couple of days ago. It looks like they might be starting to go after a few crypto influencers who were promoting certain crypto tokens, like Hex, I think is one of them. And they've announced that they're going after some of the social media influencers or the advisors who were recommending certain things. And that's why I often get people who say, well, go on, just tell me what you think is going to go up and what am I going to do well in. It's like, no, not going there, sorry. Just quickly, going back on the question on crypto mining again, because Alok answered follow up, sorry, Aloy. He said about thing is NVIDIA's starting to block crypto mining with the latest GPUs, so he doesn't feel that's good about its future. I think that's it. That the chipset manufacturers are trying to work out how they can profit from both routes. And so I know certainly, is it AMD have just brought out something like the GTX 4090 XT, or think of any letters, numbers, whatever. And I think you'll find that some of them will be crypto optimized and some of them will be crypto blocked in some way, because they want to have two marketplaces and they want to encourage developments in both of them. But as Nicola was saying, there are other ways of doing it. You don't necessarily have to buy the hardware. You can just join a crypto mining pool, or use cloud mining or various other things. But do tread very, very carefully if anyone is doing that.
If I may answer Aloy's question as well.
Yeah.
There is never a good time or a bad time to enter anything. So give it a shot and see if it works for you. It works. If it doesn't work, you'll get to know it.
There's never a good time or a bad time, but there is a wrong time, and it's always just after when you should have done something. You find crypto's a little bit like fishing. The old story of, oh, you should have come here fishing yesterday. There was a fish this size, and then when you don't go fishing, the next day someone else says, oh, you should have been here today. It was brilliant. The fish were huge. It's the same with crypto. Always do the opposite of whatever I recommend if I were to recommend anything. On
on my own agenda though, because we're in such a bearish market right now, for me, I think it's a good opportunity to be buying the cryptos that you have researched,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that you have paid attention to, you see their business case. That's my thing. So I see lots of opportunity right now. So
yeah.
I make a point of every month purchasing.
Yeah.
But however, it's still very wise to invest only as much as you are prepared.
Correct.
To lose, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Always,
And,
always.
and,
'Cause
and, and it goes with any investment again. I mean, I always look at the positive side of things. So it goes with any market. Do you really want to buy gold when the prices are at the peak? Do you want to buy any shares, stocks when the prices are at the peak? You want to buy things when the prices are rock bottom. So
yeah, well, that's it. My strategy is accumulation at the moment. That's it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Accumulation, because we're in such a bear market. It will turn. It might not be for a while yet, but I'm fine with that, and I'll continue to follow that strategy. It works for me. So you have to do your own work, you know, your own work.
I think it does come down to what your own personal philosophy and strategy is, and what your interest is. You know, so for me, for example, I don't particularly favor any particular cryptos or any techniques or anything, because my interest is in the technology that sits underneath it. So for me, I often describe it as crypto is a little bit like the gold rush of California, where, you know, everyone thinks they can make big bucks really quickly. Most of them don't. The ones who do tend to make money are the ones who are selling the pickaxes and supplying services. But the really interesting bit is, if you go back to the California gold rush and what actually happened, what that meant was at the end of the gold rush, when it all finished and it all fizzled out, there was still the infrastructure there. You know, there was the railway lines, there were the schools, the houses, all this kind of, which then let the next generation of things to build on that, and then the next generation. So this is a bit like that waves analogy I was talking about before. It's a little bit like with each wave, there's a bit of an improvement that then allows something else to build on it, something else. So, you know, blockchain and DLT led to cryptocurrencies, led to ICOs, led to STOs, brought in DeFi, and so on. So it's always improving. I just want to go back, but Bundeep, you were mentioning Waves. Is that the same organization that's connected with Waves blockchain platform?
No, this is an asset manager called Wave Financial.
Okay. I was just curious because you mentioned gaming as well. And I know that the Waves blockchain is very much a gaming blockchain. So
yeah, so the gaming is related to Forte, which is an investment by Idea Collab, and they gave the LPs a co-investment opportunity. So I went into that one as an LP co-investment. So that was Idea Collab as opposed to Wave, which is just a regulated asset manager. So not connected to the gaming token.
So I try and catch whenever I hear any phrases or whatever that I think people might not be familiar with. So you mentioned LP. You said you were an LP.
So LP. So when you have a traditional classic fund, whether it's a venture capital fund or a private equity fund, you have typically a two-structure framework for funds. So one is the general partner, and that's the same thing as the asset manager. It's the same thing as the investment manager. It's the people who basically manage the money.
Mm-hmm.
And they are GPs, general partners. And then separate to that, you have the fund, which is where people put their money in order to have it invested. But they're passive. It's like a blind pool of money.
Mm-hmm.
And they are limited in their liability. Hence, they're limited partners, hence LPs. So you're LP because you're putting money in there, but you're not managing it. You're delegating that to a fund manager, or private equity manager, or venture capitalist who manages that on your behalf and gives you, not guaranteed, but some kind of targeted returns over an investment horizon of 5 to 10 years, investment and exit horizon, I should say. So you typically have what's called the LP-GP structure. So GPs are the managers, LPs are the investors. And the other thing you'll hear about in the same context is something called the 2 and 20. And that's the annual fee that the manager, that's the general partner, the investment manager, the asset manager is making from the limited partners, which are the people who put money in the fund, and they charge 2% a year of the total fund's corpus as an annual management fee and 20% of the profit in terms of their return. So they get a profit share of 20% and an annual fee of 2%. So 2% covers their costs, people, office, due diligence, monitoring deals, investing deals, legal fees, and of course, exiting the portfolio. And the returns from the actual investments, they get a 20% from that return on the investment.
Okay.
So you could do 20 with GPNLP.
Thanks for explaining that, because this is the thing I discovered. The more I learn about crypto, the more I realize how little I know about other stuff. And you come across these things, and you start hearing these terms, and you start using these terms, and you forget to make sure everyone actually knows what you're talking about. So that's why sometimes I'll pick up, and having worked with some startups and looking at things like term sheets and all this kind of stuff, it's like it's a whole new language again. So we've got just over 15 minutes left. So what I just wanted to check, so particularly for anyone who's newer, any particular questions or anything that you're keen to share?
I'm curious if anybody went to NFT London, or if people know people who went there, how it turned out compared to the previous year. Obviously, because I'm involved in the NFT space, as I mentioned to you, and going to be more involved next year, and what people are thinking about the one in Portugal or other ones coming up. So I'm curious about that. And also on the football fan side, I am on your mailing list. I do get your stuff. So very congratulations. Thank you. And yeah, great stuff there. So
thank you. Thanks, Mandeep.
I'll offer a quick one on NFT London.
Sure.
So I didn't go to the actual main conference at the QE2 Centre, but I believe that on day one, it was really, really busy. I think there were exhibitions and panels now on every floor, and it was absolutely packed out. I think there has been a little bit of kickback on it from the final day, where, as is always the case with these conferences, by the end of the conference, everyone's fried, burnt out, got bored. And I think someone took a photo in the main hall on the last day and tweeted it. And it was like an empty hall. It had like 3 people in it or whatever. And I think that kicked off a lot of controversy. And then everyone started talking about, well, what to expect when it's £500 and that.
Yeah, I'm going to share that picture with you guys if you don't mind. I can't.
I was going to say I have screen sharing disabled usually, simply because occasionally we get Zoom bombers who come on the call.
Oh, okay.
And I learned my lesson a while ago. Do not give up control of the screen. I have to.
Did you discuss the NFT London that stood out? You know, if any kind of cool thing came out there, or have you heard anything?
So I went to an event in the evening, which was Tori Zero. It was, and it was a launch event in the evening. So you'll find that there's certain people in the space who are just known in the space. So one of them is Balbir Judge, who does a lot of promoting. You'll see him on all the WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups and that kind of thing. And he was running this event for Tori Zero, which was around their NFT product. Well, that was quite good. I went along there with Q Club for a couple of hours. It was quite nice. But I don't know any of the main events that are actually at the conference. I don't know. Did anyone else go? Nicola, you were in Barcelona.
Yeah, that was for our event. So for our crypto meets commodity event. So.
Yeah, and I think, Bundy, picking up your point, I think there were a few people out in Portugal, because there was an event on in Lisbon, which I've seen some shots from that and spoke to someone who was at that event. They said that was really good. It was really, really busy. I think that was a free conference.
Web Summit. Are you talking about Web Summit?
No, I think this is the bizarre thing. I think I know some people who were there just from the conversations I've had with a couple of them. So a few are based out there.
Yeah, my feedback and opinion on this events and these conferences is that it's all repetitive stuff. You bump into same people, same projects, everything is same. Everyone is talking about hunky-dory stuff. it needs to be meaningful. And the prices are obnoxious. Yeah, if you want mass to be there, you need to have reasonable pricing. Yes, I understand it's a business for those event organizers. They get a lot of sponsorship from various different brands. The brands are paying to showcase their products. They want to network, but it needs to be reasonable. So I would say this is also a bubble of these events. Very soon, people are not going to join these events. There is another one happening, Token 2049, I think, very soon. It's the same stuff, same people, same stuff. And they say that it is a networking event. I've been to several of them. I have not made any network out of that. I met Gary because we went to a different kind of event. We went on at a birthday bash. So that was not like, somebody's coming in and showcasing something. And majority of the times, if you go to those events, then people chase you like crazy to sell their products. So there are a few companies who write us, the way they are chasing us is just obnoxious. We don't need your product, so just leave us alone. So it's from those startups perspective, I pity and I have sympathy with those startups. They fall into the trap and they pay X amount, whatever money, in order to showcase their products. You guys think about it. I mean, which product do you remember from those events which you went to that stands out and says, I remember I saw this product in that particular event. And one of the events where I was the speaker, I was given, we were five on the stage. And it was 30 minutes session. We hardly got 2 minutes to talk. So what's the point? It becomes interesting when, there is a debate going on. People are complimenting each other. Why you like those debates between Obama and someone else, Donald Trump and all those things? Because there is a debate going on. Why do you like those talk shows on TVs? Because there is a debate going on. There is something interesting, something funny, something, so all those things doesn't happen. It's all sugar-coated stuff. So that's my opinion, honest opinion. I know people don't like it at times, but I like to speak my heart out.
I think with the whole conference space, I've seen this many times now. Previously, I've seen it with blockchain. I've seen it with crypto things. I've seen it with data warehousing. I've seen it with business analysis, all sorts. It's very, very similar. That you've got the whole thing that they try and charge people to go to the event. They try and charge sponsors, all that kind of thing. But funnily enough, though, I've had different experience in terms of the networking. That I remember I was at Olympia. I think it was about 3 years ago, and it was an amazing event. It was a 2-day conference. They had something like 4 streams of blockchain related, crypto related things going on, 4 streams in parallel. So it's actually almost impossible to work out which event you wanted to go to because there was so much going on. It was phenomenal. I had the 2 days planned out as exactly what event I was going to go to which room and everything. And I didn't go to any of them. And the reason I didn't go to any of them was that I was standing in the corridor waiting to go to the first event, and someone walked up to me and said, "Gary, great, wanted to meet you, let me introduce you to," and he introduced me to someone. And then when I'm talking to them, someone else came along and said, "Oh, Gary, can I just have a word? I'd like you to," and I ended up genuinely, it was a surreal experience of a queue of people wanting to talk to me. So from a networking perspective, I think it can be good. But yes, a lot of them are weird. The QE2 Centre, which is a big conference point near to the Houses of Parliament, I've had 2 very, very different experiences there. I remember there was a blockchain conference where they charged, I think it was a really unusual number. I think it was £26. And it's £26, and it was the most brilliant day I've known. That they were absolutely massively oversubscribed. Yeah. And in fact, they ended up having to take more space. They rented an additional floor for the day and put extra cameras in. It was amazing. And then the next event I went to there was no one there. I ended up, I was sitting in the audience, and the organizer said, "Would anyone like to stand up now and talk to the audience about anything you want to? You come up on stage now." So me being a shy person, grabbed the microphone, stood up and talked about crypto clubs and that kind of thing. But yeah, they're only mixed. So Bundy, coming back to your point, The general consensus I've had about NFT week in London is that the side events have been really good. The main events on the first day were good. We kind of went down from there a little bit. And then, as Amit was mentioning, we've got Token 2049 coming along. I'm really not sure, because I think that's a very expensive one, isn't it?
Yeah, I went there last year. And it was a waste of time and money. And again, same thing. I wanted to meet a few people, and I saw them. They were speakers, and that's the reason I went there. I met those guys, but after that, there is no response. Nothing that happens over there. They say that, okay, you will get what Trello app or some Trello app or something like that, to network. Nobody replies over there, and people who approach you over there are just trying to sell you something. So
I found that the best thing is LinkedIn and a Wi-Fi connection, and it's a real shame that LinkedIn has now suspended it had an ability to connect with anyone nearby. You actually had a localization thing on it where it detected you were in a building or in a particular place. That's what I started using quite a bit. So yeah, how much are those tickets? Wow, £2,000.
Bloody hell. Save your money, but my opinion, save your money.
I'm not going, don't worry. I'm just curious.
But if anyone does have any free tickets and they'd like to get in touch with me,
yeah,
my email address is.
There's this special access pass too, which is the ultimate one. I was giving you the discounted, cheaper version before.
so who can afford these tickets? I would love to meet those people.
So some of them do, because it's quite often it's people who are new to this space, who are getting bought into the FOMO and just don't know how it works. But also, if you're a big corporate, trying to get exposure now.
So it's very similar to all the scams that are going around.
Yeah. And in fact, it was interesting. I actually wrote a blog a few years ago about a actual conference scam, and it was the first conference. It was actually a genuine scam, as opposed to the conferences which are just a bit scammy. And it looked like the most amazing conference. It was going to be at the QE2 Centre, so a big venue, plush, all this kind of thing. And it had everyone you could think of from crypto. It had Craig Wright, Roger Ver, Tony Vays, loads and loads of names. I think it had Satoshi Nakamoto attending. It had everything. But there was something that didn't quite feel right about it. And I think the starting point was you could only buy tickets with Bitcoin. And there was no ability to pay it in pounds at the time, which fair enough, if it's a crypto conference, maybe that was the way. But there were certain things that didn't stack up. So I started getting in touch with some of the people who were down as speakers to say, oh, so are you speaking at this event? And got the answer back of what event? And it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then as the day got closer and closer, I didn't buy a ticket, but someone actually got in touch with the QE2 Centre to check what the parking was like for the crypto conference, to which the QE2 Centre said, what crypto event? And it was just a scam. They'd spun up a fake website and they were just taking, I think it was the equivalent of about £50 in crypto. So it was kind of quite nice because it gave me an opportunity to write a blog on how you can get scammed in things.
Well, it happened. Something similar happened with me as well. So there was a fan engagement conference. Their office is in somewhere in Mayfair and all those kind of things. They approached me for that because of, fan engagement app and all those kind of things. And luckily, it was supposed to happen on 24th of April, 2020. No, sorry, 24th of March, 2020.
Ah, okay.
That was the day when lockdown was announced, just a day before. And these guys, they chased me for me to pay for that event. If that event wasn't dated that particular day, I would have to pay because there were bailiffs, chasing for money for that. And there was no event, nothing.
Yeah.
So I had to mobilize the legal team to, get rid of them.
It kind of comes back to what people will say in the crypto world is do your own research. And that's true whether it's crypto or events or anything. So do be careful on that. But yeah, but there are a few crypto events or blockchain events coming up in London in the next couple of months, which are worth checking out. I run a crypto events calendar. Okay. And if anyone wants a link to that, because I run a Telegram channel where it just sends out alerts each day of anything that I've heard of.
Like that?
Yeah, just send me an email or reach out to me via LinkedIn is probably the easiest way. Just send me a note and I'll share a link to the Telegram channel. So I've got a Telegram channel that just sends out a message alert once a day of all the events that I've been told about. And there's a Google Calendar connected to it as well. So if you want to just see every event that is in November, it just gives it all. I need to add a couple more events that are on in the next couple of weeks, but there's a big blockchain events coming on. There's big crypto finance events. The City AM are doing their Crypto AM conference, which should be pretty good. The guys who run that, highly credible, a good bunch of people. I think they've got Matt Hancock, if he's out of the jungle from Australia or whatever. He should be speaking at it. And he, for those who don't know, Matt Hancock is a British MP who is heavily into crypto. I've heard a couple of his speeches now, and he's a real crypto evangelist and a former fintech person as well. So I think they've got him speaking at it. Not the cheapest of events to go to, but it will be good quality content and that kind of thing. So definitely on there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Yeah.
No. Okay, just a couple of minutes left, but Bundeep, did that answer your question sufficiently about the events and that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, more than sufficiently. And I'm glad I found out you run a calendar, so I'm about to message you on LinkedIn. You said LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, if you go to LinkedIn, or even you can do it on Google, just Google Gary Nuttall crypto or Gary Nuttall emerging technology, and I think I fill the first page of search results. Certainly if you do Gary Nuttall emerging technology, I think I am at 1 to 21 of every single result, which is not bad going.
Does it have a link to your Telegram channel?
It doesn't have a direct link from there, but if you ping me a note, I'll share the link with you.
Okay, cool.
Can do that, no problem. Okay, I guess we're about at the end then. It's nearly 8 o'clock, so it's time to go. So with that, I'll close off and say thank you everyone for coming along today. I hope you found it interesting, worthwhile an hour on a Sunday evening. Elena has always had her mind blown by so many things going on in the space.
As always, yeah.
But that's the nature of the space. There is so much going on. It's a fascinating thing to be part of. So thank you everyone for coming along today. Hope you enjoyed it. Anyone who's watching on YouTube, do click on the subscribe, like, make comments. Come along to a future meeting. Even better. Have a great one, folks. Have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.